Hello friends. When you ask most people what their favorite Polish dish is, you're bound to hear pierogi and golabki, otherwise known as stuffed cabbage. A lot of people like golabki, but they're so time consuming to make. This recipe for quick golabki in a creamy tomato sauce will be everything that you love about golabki, but without all the hassle. No rolling in cabbage leaves here. Are you guys ready for this? Let's go! Unlike the traditional golabki, we're going to get started with a half a cabbage, or about a pound or a half a kilogram. This one was a little less, but that's alright. We're going to be shredding this cabbage. When shredding cabbage, you'll notice that the tight bound leaves are being held by the core. Some people remove the core completely, but I find it a lot harder to shred when all the leaves are loose. I like to leave a little sliver of the core remaining so the cabbage is still intact. If you get to the end and you don't want the core, you could put it off to the side. But I found that a thin slice of the core is just fine. Either way, you'll want to slice and dice this cabbage into small thin pieces. If you feel more comfortable using a box grater to achieve the same result, you can also do that. I like a little more crunch in my cabbage, but if you're looking for a soft cabbage, you can also parboil the cabbage in some water for about 2 minutes to soften it up a bit. Next, we're going to start cutting the onion into small pieces. The best way that I found it is cutting an onion longitudinally, very similar to the cabbage, and making slits in the onion from top to bottom. Turn the onion 90 degrees and cut again. Voila! Now you have a beautifully diced onion. Okay, you're going to add the raw cabbage or a parboiled and chilled cabbage into a bowl with a pound or half a kilogram of ground pork. To that, you're going to add 2 whole eggs, half a cup or 100 grams of white rice, uncooked white rice. Oh no! Half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Not quite sure why I felt so compelled to put on gloves, but either way, gloves or without gloves, you're going to want to make sure that you mix everything together. You're going to want to make sure that the egg is incorporated into the whole mixture because this will be the binder for the patties. Also, since you want an even bite of cabbage with every piece of pork, you're going to want to make sure that the cabbage is evenly distributed throughout. This recipe makes about 8 golabki. In my case, it was like making a snowball, and the cabbage meatballs fit in the palm of my hand. Flatten the balls down a little and put them off to the side until you make all 8 patties. Next, we're going to fire up the range on a medium heat. Coat the bottom of the pan with some high heat oil so the golabki don't stick to the bottom. Place the patties onto the pan and sear for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. The sear is to brown the outside, so don't expect the meat to be cooked all the way through at this point. After 2 to 3 minutes, you should be ready to flip. You should have achieved a nice golden brown color on the golabki. We're getting there. By now, it should start to smell really good in your house. After 2 to 3 minutes, place the golabki onto a 9x14 or 23x33 centimeter baking safe dish. Notice the browning of the cabbage. This is going to be so tasty. Enough. Combine 3 cups or about 700 milliliters of broth or chicken bouillon, 6 ounces or 170 grams of tomato paste, half a cup or 120 milliliters of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We're going to whiskey all those ingredients together to make sure that the tomato paste is into the mixture. This is a beautiful color. It will be thin at this point, but it will thicken a bit when it goes into the oven. When everything is well incorporated, we're going to pour the tomato cream sauce over the baking dish of golabki patties. You should have enough liquid to cover the patties. You're going to cover the golabkis that are bathing in the tomato cream sauce with some aluminum foil and put it into a preheated oven. The oven should be preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for an hour and 15 minutes. After about an hour and 15 minutes, remove the golabki from the oven. The liquid should have reduced a little and also absorbed into the rice. What is there not to love about a classic Polish dish that doesn't take hours to prepare? If you're busy like most people with conflicting priorities and spending hours in the kitchen, prepping food is not on the top of your list, this is a recipe for you. Take the quick golabki out of the oven, top it with some extra tomato sauce, Sprinkle on some parsley and you're good to go. If you like this simple alternative to a classic Polish dish, hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button to be notified of my future videos. As always, thank you for checking out Raf Loves Food, and we'll see you soon.